Hello René,
Hello.
ça va? Hello.
Hello, professors and Henry. Yeah, this is Peng Fen from EDF Lab Singapore. Yeah, good morning, by the way, and good
Good
afternoon.
morning. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, sure.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Henry.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, ciao. You could connect finally.
Yeah. It took me some time, but finally it works.
So, Charles, are you in Singapore or in Paris? I see
No,
a lot of.
yeah. I'm in Paris. I'm visiting
Okay.
Nizar.
Okay. Yes, I think we can begin. Maybe start from introducing each other. I'm not sure everyone knows each other or not. I mean, Funfeng and me, I mean, we haven't really talked to you guys yet. So maybe Funfeng, we can start from the self intro first.
Oh, yeah. My name is Peng Fen Lin. I previously working as a PhD student in Nanyang Technological University, and now working as a research scientist, working for the application of AI to power system, and I'm also leading the PhD application, EDB IPP PhD industry PhD program in EDF Singapore office. So this we want to push for the application of this PhD program. That's why we have this meeting today here. Okay, so maybe Henry.
Excuse me, please. Henry, I missed you were presenting yourself and I missed it, sorry.
Okay, so Lin has already presented himself. So on my case, I joined EDF Lab 1 year ago. So before that, I was working as a senior market analyst in energy market company. That's the power market operator in Singapore for operating the wholesale electricity market. So in the lab, I'm in charge of the energy management topics. Mainly, there are two portions that I'm working. One is the market research on the power market, carbon credit market, etc. And the other part is the energy management topic. So we are exploring the AI technologies in this kind of applications. So together with Lin, we want to know about more on your side and then how we can collaborate together. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So is Edouard joining us?
Edouard, I don't think Edouard will join us. He's now in flight to France.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm Nizar Touzi. I'm professor at École Polytechnique and working in several topics related to optimal control, games, applications to finance, economics, energy markets. René, on t'entend pas. And my connection to Singapore is mainly through Ciao.
Okay, and I'm René Haïd. I'm professor of economics at Paris Dauphine University, and I used to work at EDF Research and Development for a long time, working on energy markets and finance application.
Ciao.
Yeah, and I'm Zhu Chao, and I'm working at NUS in Singapore, and I I joined NUS in 2013. I've been there for 10 years, almost 10 years. And my work is also mainly on quantitative finance with optimal control and stochastic and analytics and modeling.
Okay.
Peng, you need to unmute yourself.
Oh,
So maybe I can share a screen about my temporary proposition of this PhD proposal, and I think you guys may have a lot of comments.
oh, the connection is very bad. We can hardly hear.
Hello.
Peng Fan.
Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes.
So now it's better, right?
Yes.
Okay. So for now, I'm gonna start sharing my PhD proposal about the carbon market, which can be somehow a PhD research scope in the future. And I think you are professors in university. You may have a lot of inspiring, interesting ideas and incredible inputs or comments to this proposal, and I think we can somehow working together to improve the topic. And for my side, I'm going to apply some funding for this PhD proposal inside EDF R&D.
Okay.
Maybe one question.
Yep.
Yeah. So, do you have any candidate for this PhD position already?
For now, we don't have a definite PhD name is in our mind, so this still can be discussed later on.
Sorry, Peng Feng. I thought it was you, the PhD student, for this project.
Oh no, I was previously a PhD. I have already graduated from my PhD.
Okay.
Thanks.
Years ago.
Congratulations. Okay, so new project. Okay, great.
Where did you graduate from?
Nanyang Technological University, NTU.
NTU. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So
In which department? May I ask you? In which
power
department?
engineering.
Okay.
I was
Because
working.
we also know Nicolas Privot there and several other colleagues. Nicolas is in math, right? Zoo, you know people in the engineering department probably.
Yeah, we know several people in the Department of Mathematics, School of Mathematics and Physics.
Okay. So from what I see in the carbon market research topic, for Singapore, the DBS Development Bank Singapore, DBS and the Standard Chartered Bank and Temasek funding has already launched a platform that can be used for the carbon credit or carbon exchange platform for carbon exchange globally. So this is still an ongoing effort in Singapore. And another one is that Economic Development Board in Singapore commissioning a agent from North Europe to investigate the possibility of formulating or cultivating Singapore as a global carbon service hub. And the conclusion of this report is that the carbon market capability of this market is very large, and Singapore is quite possible to leverage on its own financial services and the infrastructure services to support the development of carbon market service. So this is a background in Singapore side, and what we can do. The topic is still new, and what we can do is that this is just my in my proposal. What I think can be done in the future as PhD topic is that for now I think the operation mechanism of carbon market is not very clear, and because as a commodity as a commodity as a commodity, carbon is not very similar to the conventional commodity commodity things. So the market mechanism and its operation may not be may be different from the conventional one. So there's a research gap to fill up to understand how carbon market operation can be different from the existing one, and how we can optimal design and optimal market in the carbon market. So as a PhD, I think what he can do is to identify different types of carbon credits and identify different stakeholders in different countries, and also try to identify how the government can optimally regulate the carbon credit market. So, however, this kind of descriptions is not very is still a little bit blurry. So, I think some of your existing work, like the study on the study on government regulations, can somehow related to this market design and optimal governmental regulation designs. So this is the first scope of this carbon credit market. The second one is a result from the discussion what I had with Henry before. It's about leveraging on the AI based method, like generative anniversary network to predict the possible future carbon credit price, and try to find out a optimal trading strategy to maximize the benefits of a company or a business run of a business owner. And we can also leverage on the AI to assess the probability of a new carbon credit markets, and this is kind of things related to carbon market simulation. The third axis is the third scope is about the real-time estimation of carbon corporate carbon footprint. For now, most of corporate carbon footprint estimation is annually based. So the time resolution is very long, is very large. However, if we want to if we want to boost the efficiency of carbon market efficient of a carbon market of a carbon credit market, it's better to reduce the time resolution of your estimation algorithms. So, inspired by non-intrusive load monitoring, what we propose here is to investigate the non-intrusive device, non-intrusive industrial appliance, yeah, investigate these identify the status of various industrial appliance, to estimate a corporate carbon emission just based on the electricity consumed by this corporate. In this case, as a aggregator or auditor, there's no need to put a lot of sensors inside the company. However, we just see the data in the entrance sensor of this company. In this way we can preserve the privacy and help to prevent some key information leakage for the company. So this is one thing. The second thing is to this is what we call direct corporate carbon footprint estimation. The second one is to looking this carbon emission from the perspective of power system operator, and we can allocate the entire power system cost to different electricity bus, so that we can understand how this company connect to a particular bus node, how this company consume the power electricity from the power generation substation. So there are two. So we can combine the direct carbon credit emission and the indirect carbon emission. These two emission estimation together will give the entire corporate carbon emission of a particular company. And all of this estimation is 24/7 estimation. It's kind of a real-time estimation. We don't have to wait for the entire annual report and then estimate the carbon emission of the whole year. We can just understand the carbon emission of the corporate in a real-time manner. So this is a three scope we proposed in our office. I think you may have some ideas to revise the three scopes. And how do you see the possibility? How do you see the value of these three scopes?
Thanks, Pengfeng. Thanks. First, I think it is a very interesting subject. Nizar and I also worked on carbon emission modeling, the carbon market modeling with backwards and stuff a long time ago. And you've seen that in the FIM lab, we did some work. My point is the following. So when I saw the subject, I see the scope 1, which concerns, there are two things. This is the question of the market design of a carbon market emission. And my concern would be what is the context in Singapore? What is the target, for instance, of what kind of market are you targeting? For instance, there is a huge carbon emission market with allowances in China. There is one in Europe where there is carbon emission, and there is this market stability reserve. And so there is a complex market design. And so on the scope 1, my question would be, are you interested in designing a market design close or which differs from those big ones? This is the first question. And you talk about trading strategy in the carbon market. So it means that you would like to have price forecast, or at least to identify what should be the level of the price. It can move from 0 to the cap. So depending on the real emissions, it depends. So, but that's two different questions in themselves to design a market. And who would participate? I would be interested in knowing if, for instance, if it's a PhD thesis which is going to be in connection with the EDF lab in France. So how do the Singapore context and the fact that you want to develop something in Singapore affects this strategy? And the second one, for the simulation, I have it's important to simulate. At the scope 3, there is one thing which is indirect emissions. I say it's more blurry, like you say, but for direct corporate carbon footprint, for direct emissions, now there are a lot of data online, or at least I will show you, I will share my screen afterward, but it's possible now to get information, as you say, on measured emission by satellite. It fools, and people, they measure stuff, or they get data like this, for instance, for marine transportation, for power plants, uniquely using satellite data. There are some data providers, and it is value data. Voilà. And so, and I think this data connected to the first scope, the market design and the trading strategy, can make a very strong subject. compared, for instance, because there are three things. There is the carbon market design, trading strategy, direct emission of companies, and indirect. So this one, in the last one, the indirect, it's a problem of accountability, and it's quite different from the others. And for the others, then you would have a subject which would be enough for a student for 3 years, I would say. But my question is how Singapore intervenes in this carbon market. Singaporean people, voilà, c'est ça. Oui, yes.
I think okay, so I think Singapore government launched this kind of platform is for the entire is for the entire Southeast Asia countries. Because Singapore is a really useful hub, financial service hub
Yes.
for Southeast
Yes.
Asia countries. So they want maybe I think they want to leverage on this advantage to
Yes.
to develop a carbon credit exchange platform. So the market will not always be in Singapore only. However, it can be including China, Southeast Asia countries, and India, and also Australia.
Okay.
So another one is that I just mentioned the final idea about direct carbon emission estimation. So for now, I understand. For now, in a very in a unified country like China or US or a very
Europe.
unified region in Europe, like Europe, all the electricity networks is connected together. However, this is not the case in
Yes.
Singapore. So because we have geopolitical challenges. So for now, Singapore government and Southeast Asia countries are trying to reach an agreement,
Okay.
to interconnect all the electricity grid in Southeast Asia country
Okay.
to establish a unified electricity market. And I guess this unified electricity market can be helpful to perform the carbon
See.
carbon credit emission inside the Southeast area.
Okay. Okay. That's very good. And there is a subject because it's a question also. And for Singapore service providing, so generally in that case, it means you really need to have a platform where you design generally future contracts on real on the papers of the allowances.
Yeah.
There is the allowances in countries, and in the platform, then people can trade forwards, and then they deliver the paper. But there is also another subject which would be of utmost interest for Singapore and for the region is to have, even if the electricity networks are not interconnected, is to have fungibility of allowances between countries.
Oh, okay. Virtually.
This one would make, for instance, I have to reduce my emissions. I do some effort. I'm left with allowances in, for instance, in Vietnam. If Vietnam is part of it, I don't know. I don't know the region. I'm sorry for that. I have a very poor skills in geography, but I know Vietnam. But I don't know if they have a carbon market. But imagine they have. So I have some allowances in Vietnam, and at the end of the year, I can resell these allowances to China, to a guy in China who did not make enough effort.
Okay.
And so
okay.
And that one is new. That one is new. I've not seen papers on that.
Can you explain a little bit more?
For instance, the problem of carbon emissions. So when you design your carbon market, for instance, there is Europe and there is China. Okay, and both those countries, they have their allowances. Okay, and because of international trade, there is some goods which leave China and goes to Europe. And so people want to make some taxes at the borders to say, no, but there is a carbon content in the goods coming from China.
Okay.
Instead of doing that, you say, no, we're not going to do that. This one is tax and stuff and bad for international trade. What we are going to do is one good to connect the carbon emissions trading system. And the people are having, it's not my idea. Huh? People are okay, but nobody did. I would say you could look at that. What would be the benefit and the cost of connecting the two carbon markets, which are the most important one, which is China?
Okay.
Oui.
So basically, it's kind of the market of markets.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you build, and then for Singapore, everybody would trade carbon allowances and forwards in Singapore.
Okay.
A lot of okay.
And a quick reaction regarding scope 3.
Okay.
What you have in mind is something like in France we have the Linky, which measures instantaneously electricity, at least theoretically, because then there are some privacy rules, etc., which do not allow EDF to use it in continuous time. So what you have in mind is to use this kind of device to measure emissions now through electricity, and to design some incentive schemes for carbon emission. Is this what you have in mind?
What is in mind is that this kind of carbon emission process can be used for those manufacturing companies. So let's say in this manufacturing company you have different devices integrated together to build up a product line. So when you are as a third party carbon emission auditor, you can use a non-intrusive way to estimate or to verify your carbon emission. So,
but you may also design it for households, right? So in case the outside climate, so we receive recommendations like today you should not exercise outside because there's a lot of pollution in the air or whatever. You may also use these devices to say, given the state of the climate and the pressure in the air today, you may defer your consumption because you are going to have more harmful carbon emissions than other days. So can we imagine recommendations of this sort? But could be also for industrial customers.
Okay. So
and then this would be connected to contract theory, optimal incentive theory, which is something that we have been using often these last years.
Up to optimal incentive theory.
Yes.
Did you have any websites or references for that? Can you optimal?
René,
you have Chao Zhu with you. He could provide some. He's also a specialist in that. So yeah, and so he can explain because he's in Singapore and can explain what we do directly. And this one would require a talk in itself, saying. But basically, incentive theory is how to make people do what you want to do. Okay, when you have an objective and people are not aligned with your objective, and so you want to provide some economical incentives, meaning money, but appropriately given according to things that you can observe. And there hasn't been a real progress in the last 10 years on how to design optimal incentive contract, and so we can provide really both. We can identify the optimal contract. We can explain, in some cases, we can also explain very, very simply. Voilà. So, But to provide a basic introduction,
So basic introduction would be maybe how you pay. It's a delegation problem. So suppose you are EDF wants to give you incentive to work in the goodwill of EDF, right? So how should be your payment scheme so that you are incentivized to work for the good utility of EDF. Think about the owner of land delegating the management of the land to a farmer. How should the owner of the land pay the farmer so that the farmer puts effort in the direction of the good of the landowner, although he doesn't own the land, while being happy. But it's the same relationship everywhere. This is related to, in economics they call it contract theory. How to build contract which resolves the so-called moral hazard problem in economics. So that how to do a contract between two actors or populations of actors, so that everyone will be happy while serving the objective of the overall objective, either of some principle or of the government or whatever, depends on the modeling. So it's a game problem, in fact. No? It's a game problem.
It's a game theory.
Yes, it's related to game theory, right?
So basically, okay. So basically, can I say this contract design, optimal contract design, can be mathematically modeled as a game theory?
Exactly.
Okay. Game theory models. Okay. Understand.
Exactly.
Okay. So, okay.
So that will be, I think, an interesting keyword for Scope 3.
Okay. Keyword.
But I see many projects here. For one PhD, there's a lot in these three scopes, right?
I, in my mind, even for the same PhD topic, different PhD will dig different things out of the same topic, right? So we only after we see the results of the PhD, we can say, oh, which one is better than another one. So everything, I think this topic is quite new. There's no existing solid results or conclusion so far. So I think we still need to investigate in this topic.
Okay, so what do you have in mind as a collaboration?
Okay. So the topic, there's one thing here. The money, the part of money of this PhD program will be Singapore government, and I am not sure if we can. I'm not sure if the student can be registered in France University, or the student has to be registered in Singapore local university. This is a question I need to double check with Edward. Yeah.
But in Singapore would be better, right? Because we have Chow there, and Chow could be running this in Singapore. Yes, I think it's better that
it's not difficult.
Everything stays in Singapore.
So yeah, I think there's one possibility, and maybe this PhD can be registered in Singapore first, and you may be the co-supervisor of this PhD, or the PhD can be registered, can be fully registered in a France university. However, this should be discussed with Edward later on. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the policy of the Singapore government. as to this topic.
Okay.
I will.
Because you see some value in registering registering the PhD in France.
Sorry, you're asking me.
Why? Yes. Why would not would be the registration in France important in a French university? Why would that be important? Is a registration at NUS, for instance, or NTU, wouldn't that be enough?
Yeah, I think ideal case is that a student should be registered in NTU or NUS. So yeah, that depends on how's our collaboration goes. If you prefer the students to be registered in France side, and this should be discussed with Singapore government later on. And if you are okay, if you are open for this, if you are open that a student can be registered in Singapore local university, and that's fine, and everything will be easier.
Let's work under this assumption, because Chao is there, and also he has a group. He can bring some other members from his team, and it would be because personally when I come to Singapore, I'm visitor. So and Rene as well. So we don't have that strong connection as Chao. Chao is really professor at NUS, and he can really have an impact in his department through such a project.
Okay.
And we can, and for if you want, when you are going to make some advertisement to enroll a PhD student in that, you can say that even if there is no formal stuff yet, you can still say that the student, we can welcome the student in Paris, either in École Polytechnique or in Dauphine. So this is a kind of way. First, this is subject to which are interesting us a lot: carbon market design, carbon market trading strategies, and the real-time measuring of direct emissions, and how those data can improve the behavior of the market equilibrium of carbon emissions. So these ones are very important topics also for us. So in any case, we would be very happy to welcome the student in Paris.
Okay.
Yeah,
and one more thing is that according to the regulation of government, the PhD candidate should be Singapore citizen or PR. So which means there's no chance for French citizen to be in this to join this program. Yeah, this is
Singaporean program.
Singaporean or Singapore PR, permanent resident. Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, sure. And yeah, maybe I can revise this proposal a little bit according to your comments, and discuss internally with EDF R&D experts to see how we can secure the EDF internal funding to push for this PhD program.
And for your, just a quick, I would like to, I don't know if you know, but I'm going to, and I cannot share my screen. Can you give me permission?
Yeah, sure.
Just I would like to share, because it's new for me. So but people who work in this field, it's not new for them. But so I would like to just to show you.
Now you can share.
Yeah, voilà. For instance, here is something which is named Climate Trace, and Climate Trace is tracing real time with using satellites data. Emissions market from many type of sites. For instance, it's not, you have to pay to get very thin data, but for instance, they give, you click there and it says the ArcelorMittal Asturias Milton steel plant. And it gives you information, and it is real time. Busac Forest Cement Plant, 1 million ton. You only using satellite data. Climate Trace. And there is another one. It's a comment. Don't worry, Denisa. I'm not making some advertisement for people, but because many people are doing that. It's another company which is named Kairos. and they have their carbon watch. So, for instance, okay, in Europe, they got that, but they are going to, and they have their carbon watch, technology, they provide SNCF. There are some free data and paying data. But all these ones are based also on satellite data.
Okay. Satellite data. Okay.
Satellite, the future.
The
And
data,
they also measure, yes?
the data is one data per year or?
No, look at this. It's per month. This one is per month.
Okay, okay.
Okay, this one is per month. And these ones, the emissions for this guy, I don't know. But I think it's a kind of things which it can change the way we assess carbon emission. Castere semante plante. Voilà. And there is, is there China, in Singapore? So I'm not good at geography. Nepal, voilà. I think you're somewhere. Are you there? You are there. Huh? Singapore is over there, no?
It's not there. It's on the point below.
Vietnam, that's Vietnam.
That's Vietnam. Where is Singapore? Where is Singapore?
Below.
More south.
15 point below.
Ah bon?
Yeah,
Singapore. Right.
Yeah. It's very small.
Singapore. Yeah, it's small, but in size. Voilà. Singapore, ExxonMobil.
There's a big spot.
Voilà. You see, it's voilà. Okay, and all those data providers, generally their business model is to provide some free data, which are a certain granularity, or to provide. But if you want some deeper then you have to pay because then it's really work.
Oh, okay,
Voilà.
okay.
Okay.
How many people are you at EDF Singapore? May I ask?
There are less than 20 people in our
EDF lab.
Yeah, EDF lab Singapore. Less than 20 people.
Okay, so that's a good team.
Yeah, however, we have regular meetings and very close connection with EDF lab in Saclay. So basically, EDF Lab Singapore is a overseas branch of EDF R&D in France.
Okay. Who are you connected to in EDF Saclay?
Yes.
Like who are the people?
Basically we connect with the Osiris team. Yeah.
Osiris. Yes.
Yes.
With Clément Salasseur, maybe.
That's right. Good, Clément.
Yes,
so we meet on the
Olivier Ferron.
Downstream. Yes.
Okay, so we are very used to work with them.
Yes. So our strategy is that after our validation discussion here, finally we will submit this proposal to Osiris in France, and Clément is the contact person.
Okay. Chao, do you think it's you can find PhD candidates for this type of projects at NUS?
Yeah, I think it's possible, and then we can do some advertisement together.
Through your PhD program?
Yeah, I think it's possible. And maybe I have one question. So in case, right, so this is a Singapore government program. So if we can get it, it would be very nice. It's like a formal collaboration. And in case if we cannot, can we still do this? For example, with mathematics department at US? Because we have our own PhD program, and we can also fund PhD students.
Link, if okay, maybe you can share the budget that we propose to the Osiris team. Maybe give some ideas. Yes.
No, the budget is only for EDB-IPP, and the money, the amount of money from government is not included. So the budget I compiled in this presentation is not convinced.
I think what Zhou Chao has mentioned is that if the government is not funding, maybe the NUS will be funding the part, you know.
Yeah,
so they want to know how much they
I
are able
understand.
to
Maybe
fund. Yes.
in the case that the Singapore government will not be funding this program, I understand there are existing research scholarship in NUS that can be used for this topic. Yeah. So in that sense, yes, the money from NUS will be a standard value, a standard number, right?
Okay.
2,000
Yeah, we have
2,000 per month or 2.5
No,
per month.
now it's I think it's increased to 3,000 something,
3,000. Okay.
3,700. Yeah,
Yeah,
it really
yeah.
depends.
Okay. So in that case, the PhD student will be a full-time student in NUS. However, the student cannot be a full-time employer in EDF Lab Singapore. This is the difference.
They cannot.
Yeah, and if we go for
Okay.
EDB-IPP industrial PhD program, the student can be a full-time PhD student in university, and at the same time, the student should be a full-time employee in EDF. So it has two status. However, if you go for NUS scholarship, the PhD can just be a full-time student in university, cannot be a full-time employee in industry. This is the difference.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So it's better to get this scholarship from the government.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think I will revise the proposal according to your comments and inputs, and I will discuss with some guys from EDF later on, and I will keep you updated.
Okay.
Sure, great, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rene, shall we discuss?
Yeah, one. Yeah.
Let's speak on the phone about other subjects.
Okay.
Okay, it's ciao.
Yeah.
Will you come to
I can come to your home.
We meet at Porte de Vanves, okay?
Okay.
Sorry, we're organizing ourselves.
Okay, good.
Ciao, you're in France.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in Paris.
Do you live now? Ciao, do you live now? You leave the hotel now?
Yeah, I'm in the hotel.
Okay, so it takes you like basically 20 minutes, right, to get there?
Yeah, 20 minutes.
Okay, so I'll see you later. Nice meeting you guys.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, we can also meet when I will be back to Singapore.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Henri.jou est actuellement indisponible. Laissez un message après la tonalité. Lorsque vous avez terminé, raccrochez ou appuyez sur la touche dièse pour obtenir plus d'options.